Recording in progress. So good afternoon, everyone. We will about to start in the next 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. I would like to welcome, I see Pravanya ji as well as Misha Singh ji. So thank you very much. And I think I also see Mr. Dinesh Kumar. So I welcome all of you. We are about to start. There are a lot of people joining in. Mr. Rohit, I see, welcome. We're just about to start. There's a bit of crowding joining the event. So we already reached about close to 300 and some are going towards YouTube. So just give us another 3 minutes and we will be starting. Neelgiri, just ground rules in terms of chatting. Can we, when I type in, can participants also see the chat?
Yes, sir. They can see the chat box.
So I use hosts and panelists, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, all the participants can put their queries in the chat box. Like if they want to ask about any details about any session in between, they can.
But from our point of view, I just need to select hosts and panelists to type in. Is it? Everybody can see.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think we'll start the session. Warm welcome to all the panelists and participants for today's Citywide Inclusive Sanitation Learning Program. As we all know that this webinar is about inclusive and aspirational public conveniences, which is a very integral part of attaining series. This is the objective of this particular program is helping government functionaries. Can we have the objective slide here, Neelgiri?
Yes, please.
Yeah, can we share the screen so that it's easy for the participants to know the objectives, what we have? Yeah.
Can you see now? Is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I'll go again. I'll run through. So the objective of this particular program is helping government functionaries, the practitioners and other partners, stakeholders in developing inclusive and aspirational public convenience. I think Neelgiri, you'll have to be in the objective slide. Yeah, there's a little bit of
yeah.
Yes, that's the objective of the webinar. And in the interest of the objective, if you look, while we were curating this particular program, our interest was to give you a good experience in what it requires to, what it requires to construct or to build or to maintain a aspiration inclusive public toilet. So we've divided this session into two segments. The first segment is on understanding and seeing some leading practices at the ground, at the core. And the second component is about the innovations. So wherein you could actually see and watch these fascinating innovations which are aimed towards meeting these objectives of this particular webinar, that is inclusive and aspirational toilets. Can we move to the next slide? So this is very interesting. I'd like to welcome all the participants again. We have about 1,100 registrations. That's the updated one. This program is being live streamed on YouTube. So most of them are joining us from there. And if you see, we have a major chunk of people around from the cities and state officials. We have nonprofits and academic institutions. These are all the key pillars to attain in citywide inclusive sanitation. So I hope you're all benefited by this program, today's curriculum. Can we move to the next one? Yes, so this is some clarification for all the 1,100 people or around. Right now I can see about 315. I don't know the other ones who've joined from YouTube. That, all the presentations which we are going to have today will be shared to you. The webinar is being recorded. The recording will be reaching you through your emails. Please use the chat section to send in your comments, your experiences, your challenges in this sector. Please keep sharing us, because this is also a rich resource for us. And if you want to be a part of our conversation, you could just, ping in chat that you want to join as a panelist. We'll let you in and you could be a part of this discussion also. And all the additional materials which you would need, we will send you by email towards the end of the session. And in the interest of time, I'd like to now introduce all our speakers in very briefly, because we've given you a detailed agenda and a brief about the speakers through your email. So it's a pleasure to invite Dr. P. Sampath Kumar, IAS Government of AP. He's going to deliver the keynote address. He's also the MD of Swachh Andhra Corporation and has done some phenomenal work in the space of Clean AP program. My pleasure to invite Mr. Dinesh Kumar, IAS, Commissioner Rajahmundry's Municipal Corporation. Previously, sir has transformed majority of the toilets in Nellore as a municipal commissioner there into aspirational toilet. Yeah, but he's instrumental in transforming the life of Safai Karamcharis with his commitment. We welcome you, sir. It's a privilege to invite Ms. P. Pravanya, IAS, Municipal Corporation, Greater Warangal Municipal Corporation. She has extensively worked in making public conveyance aspirations and inclusive. I would invite Ms. Misha Singh, IAS, posted in District Shahjahanpur as CEO Jilla Panchayat. She was instrumental in building gender inclusive and gender friendly toilet. Thank you so much. I'll quickly introduce you to the innovators which we have here today. We have Mr. Abhishek Nath has deputed Mr. Chuck, I think, the services, and their innovation is the Loo Cafe from Made in Mumbai, who is going to showcase his user-centric designs. Mr. Sunil Manohar, co-founder of Venalytics, who is going to show us about ICT-based monitoring for operation and maintenance. And we have Mr. Rohit Kumar from Alpha Biotech. His technology is MURT on-site sanitation technology. A warm welcome to all the panelists again. And now I would have to Professor Chari, the Director of Center for Urban Governance at ASCI and the CEO of Swachh Innovation. Sir, I would want you to set the context and take the lead from here, sir.
Thank you, Chirantana. I think you have not introduced yourself, so I'm introducing you. So Chirantana is my colleague, joined very recently, doing a good job. Thank you very much.
I hope so. Thank you, sir. This was my first assignment in ASCI, by the way.
So you can take the slide down. So I will have the privilege of seeing everyone. So you can take it out. Thank you very much, everyone, joining today, rather at short notice. In fact, this is one of our efforts to make public sanitation inclusive. And we are starting this journey as a part of this journey of citywide inclusive sanitation agenda at the national level, at Government of India level, state and local level. We are starting with public conveniences, be it a public toilet or a community toilet. Now, allow me to set the context. But before that, I would like to also welcome all the participants who have taken time out to join this event. Greatly appreciate. As Chirantana said, the endeavor of this conversation today is scale up the efforts that we are all making for this public conveniences, be it public toilets or community toilets, aspirational. Right now, as I speak, when I present my storyline, we have built phenomenal toilets, but there's a lot of improvements are required to make them inclusive as well as user friendly. And that's what is going to be the effort for the next 1 year as part of ASCI's agenda, as well as Government of India agenda, is supporting us in this endeavor. So I will set the context, and then I see Mr. Dr. Sampath Kumar has joined, who is going to give us a perspective as a keynote. But before that, let me just set the context for the benefit of everyone. So as I said, today's conversation is about inclusion as well as aspiration in the context of public sanitation. And as we all know that we have built, it's a phenomenal progress. And thanks to all the municipal commissioners, state officials, mission directors, and national government, we have built almost like 0.65 million public conveniences in a short span of time. I think it's a global record. A country can ever imagine so many toilets, public conveniences built at a short period of time through public participation, through involvement of innovations. And I think more and more are coming up, are under development as SBM 2.0 gets unrolled. Now, these public conveniences are catering to the floating population, as we commonly use, public places, tourism places, and most importantly, for the urban poor. Now, this is the main, I would say, stakeholder group. Now, this urban poor, also the floating population, includes multi-stakeholders, and that's what I think we need to start looking at it. Now, very importantly, as all of us know, Government of India and partners have come up with a number of norms and standards, both in terms of how many toilet seats should be there, what should be the user-friendly design, what are the service norms and standards. These are all very clearly outlined at different stages. Now, as you know, Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0 clearly articulates what an aspirational toilet and why we need to bring aspirational toilet. Aspirational toilet should become the new norm rather than aspirational. So that's the intention of SBM 2.0. Lot of guidelines have also been released by the ministry and number of state governments and partner organizations. And if you look at the features of public conveniences, you will not find even in international cities. But these features are very important that I have articulated in terms of cleanliness, availability as 24/7, clean wash basins and mirrors, water availability around the clock, ventilation, privacy issues, and very importantly, the containments. What should be the nature of the containment? It's not the superstructure, but also the substructure and the adequacy in terms of lighting. And this list goes on very clearly articulated. It says gender segregated distinct entrances. They should be, these facilities should be amenable for people with special needs, like barrier-free accessibility, visibility, and also toilet sanitary equipments like menstrual hygiene practices, PPEs, and so on and so forth. An important segment of this group is also children. This toilet should also be catering to the requirements of the children with different height segments. So that's another important feature that's outlined. And if you look at the public toilet designs of Singapore, Japan, and even some of our features are much more actually inclusive in any way. So, and this list I'm not going to read, but very importantly, the public conveniences should also have monitoring systems, SMS-based feedback, mobile monitoring systems, QR code systems. Now, you may ask whether these things are working or not. I think it's a journey has begun, and that's the point I'm trying to convey here. So, while there are fiscal incentives to build public conveniences, there are guidelines given. These guidelines range from gender-friendly toilets, like what should be the minimum number of seats. If it is a community toilet, it's one seat for 25 women. If it is a public toilet, it's 1 seat for 50. So the numbers are given. The features are given as part of the checklist. Features are given for people with special needs. Operation and maintenance practices are also given. So we have excellent guidelines available. We have fiscal incentives available. We have checklists available as operation and maintenance. If you look at ODF++, document released by the government recently, there are 33 checkpoints as part of the ODF++ protocol. These are very practical, simple to do, and I think it's doing very well. Now, as an outcome of all this, what I can see is that we have some fantastic leading examples and leading practices. So today we are celebrating by inviting these leaders from cities as well as from innovation space, leaders like commissioners, leaders like those who are constructing and maintaining these facilities, and also leaders at the state level who are facilitating this. So we have some fantastic leading practices. This is one of our towns where you can see very clearly barrier-friendly, or rather people with special needs can really access this toilet in terms of the width of the row, width of the access, as well as handrails, and the way it is sloped. It may look very, very normal, but I think it's super important from that particular person's perspective. And you will not see in many other countries. So I think it's time to celebrate some of these successes. Likewise, you see the interiors, the provisions, the service quality. You will see in many places in the country such fantastic efforts made by cities. We have excellent design thinking public conveniences across the country, not just in some parts of the country, you will see across the country. You will see the interiors with special provisions for women in terms of sanitary pad dispensers, in terms of incinerators, mirror, the child friendliness, availability, caretaker space, hand washing facility. So we have leading examples. We have leading examples in terms of enterprise development to sustain this program. And one of our example is Loo Cafe, where they are combining cafe with toilet. There are challenges, there are promises, but I think we need to celebrate some of these positives. We have to celebrate the positives with regard to the treatment. It's not just about superstructure and making it aesthetically beautiful, but also the substructure and the waste coming out is also treated through nature-based solutions. So these are some of the, I think, celebrations that we need to do. At the same time, there's a large chunk of our public conveniences. The focus is on infrastructure, not on inclusion and aspirational service qualities. And that is the reason this journey is something we want to start. We have created fantastic infrastructure, but I think there's a long way to go in achieving excellence across the country, across all cities in the country. You will see a lot of public conveniences where the sensitivity for gender friendliness is missing. You can see in visual number 2 in the middle, there's a ladies or so-called toilet for women, but also the women has to face men who are urinating across. You will also see here a child-friendly toilet is actually integrated with person with special needs. The requirements are very different. You will see a number of toilets which are unfriendly for people with special needs. There's no ramp, there's no access control, there is no WC, which is on vested commode toilets. So these are some of the challenges we witness on the ground on a day-to-day basis. We also see challenges not on the superstructure, but also on the substructure, where the toilet outlet is connected to an open nala or a drain without any treatment, and that's impacting the public health of the area, and it's creating a stench in that area. And that actually impacts the usability of these conveniences. We need to change this, and it is doable. You can see here, public toilets are not well maintained for a number of reasons. So we need to change this. The treatment infrastructure is not well done, leading to access being blocked. There's crowding around the toilet, and women find it reluctant to, or find it difficult to get into the space, especially third gender. So we did a female-friendly toilet audits, and we find that this was a little old story, and the commissioner has taken a phenomenal improvement just because the data is available to her or him. When we started, the menstrual hygiene practices were missing, but when this information goes out to the leader, they change. So another area of improvement is the timely information support. Access control was not available, but with this information made available to the city leader, they have changed the game. So all I'm saying is that there are certain underlying reasons for us, for our cities, for our city leaders and state and national government, where we are unable to declare excellence and inclusive because of certain reasons. Number one, absence of timely information support on norms, standards, design features. There's no helpline for an engineer or a sanitation person who is building the toilets as per the direction of the commissioner. We need this timely information to them. Lack of timely handholding support on the design and implementation and operation support. Non-availability of information on the developers. Who are these developers? There's no directory available for a city to identify them, the designers, the implementers, contractors. So we end up taking anybody and everybody. Weak monitoring system. Monitoring is one of the weakest link in this whole thing, and absence of ICT solutions for monitoring. And because of that, there is a trust deficit between the service provider as well as the city government, leading to delays in payments, leading to cancellation of contracts, and so on and so forth. We need timely information on the quality standards. Absence of technology for effective containment and treatment systems, especially we know that 70 to 80% of these public conveniences are actually not connected to sewer system, but they have to be connected to septic tanks or any other on-site systems. So we need better off-grid systems and weak operation and maintenance practices. We need credible O&M players, and in all this, training and do-yourself kits are equally important for practitioners. When we spoke to a number of city leaders, we spoke to a number of engineers and sanitation inspectors. These are the 7 and 8 issues that are actually undermining our efforts to make our public conveniences inclusive, as well as make them aspirational. Otherwise, the national government is interested, city leaders are interested, state governments and mission directors are interested, but I think we need to bridge this gap. And that's what is the effort of ASCI in this promotion of inclusive and aspirational public conveniences. And it has to become a new normal. And it's no longer should be aspirational, it should be a normal. And that's the endeavor, that's the journey. And I would now invite what my colleague Neelgiri, what we should do and what we are announcing on this day before we invite the thought leaders in terms of how they went about doing it. Neelgiri, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So, having seen a wonderful presentation by Chari sir, now we have ASCI has planned to launch a helpline to support the program, where we call it as Inclusive Aspirational Public Conveniences Helpline. This actual intention to launch this helpline is to provide technical assistance, design support and training, supporting and connecting with the developers and innovators to build inclusive and aspirational public conveniences. And ASCI also supports in providing DIY kits and tools. And along with this, ASCI is also launching an award called Captain Award, where we have derived it as from caretaker of inclusive and aspirational public conveniences. This is dedicated for all the caretakers who have worked so far and who are aspiring to work in nearby future to achieve our goals. This is to award excellence in achieving inclusive and aspirational public conveniences in India. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So the idea of this initiative is to, often city governments are recognized for wonderful work that they do. But I think the caretaker, who is actually critical link between the functionality and the dysfunctionality, is often actually not recognized in this whole journey. So this Captain Award is going to be an award for caretaker, both in terms of taking them to the national space, but also giving them a monetary or a non-monetary award. We are figuring out what is the best way. We will consult some of you for whichever way is appropriate. But the award has been decided. We have raised some money through corporate social responsibility, and this award will be given to the caretaker. They can apply any point in time around the year. It's not a particular period of time, so that they can apply for this award as long as the facility is well maintained and meeting the indicators that we are going to outline for inclusive and aspirational toilets. That particular facility will be awarded. That particular captain will be recognized. So that's an effort, a modest effort. And I'm sure all of you would help and support in spreading the word about these initiatives, so that nobody should feel that they don't have support in providing and developing inclusive and aspirational public conveniences in the country. The designs, all the support that is required online, offline, will be made pro bono. There's no charge for this, but I think that is the whole idea of taking this agenda forward as a mission mode. So I'll stop here. Now I would invite Dr. Sampath Kumar, who is the Managing Director of the Swachh Andhra Corporation. Sir, you are here. Thank you very much. To give your views and what Andhra is doing. You have a big agenda for making all public conveniences aspirational. So I would like to invite you to deliver your talk.
Yeah, good evening all. Can you share my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And Andhra Pradesh state is one of the pioneer state is having a regulatory framework of fecal sludge and septage management with the help of ASCI. So we are trying to link entire fecal chain right from the toilet to treatment plant. So during this entire journey, ODF journey, we have reached to this level. And recently our Honorable Chief Minister also, he has started Clean Andhra Pradesh program to implement both solid and liquid waste management treatments up to the mark in the state. We are also on this journey. So today's aspirational toilet issue, if we discuss, so as you know, our journey started in the year, though partial journey was completed by 2014. Our actual journey was started after 2014. There we completed nearly public toilets 9,169 and community toilets 8,680 and individual toilets 2,43,612. As you know, aspirational standards. So as per the SBM guidelines, these are the aspirational standards. Like Mr. Chari also told about the standards. So there should be women-friendly toilets and different abled and child-friendly toilet design you should have, and toilets for transgender community, and water and energy efficient toilets also we need to keep in making the design itself. Next. This is our actual ODF status. Our cities almost Vijayawada, Visakhapatnam and Tirupati, they got water plus status. As you know, water plus status. So waste, whatever waste which is generated in the city should be treated, and as well as whatever recovered water also need to be treated for other uses. This as per the CPCB norms, water plus cities are only 3 in our state. Then ODF plus 7 cities we have, and ODF plus is 100. Now our vision is to complete all 1 lakh and above cities. At least 50% cities we are targeting water plus, then remaining all cities ODF plus. This is our focus. As Mr. Chari also told about our big target, that is 1500 public toilets we are trying to make aspirational standards, and with the robust monitoring mechanism. Next. So during this journey, we have almost identified major challenges like lack of awareness on linkage between the sanitation and health, even in urban areas, and unhygienic maintenance of public toilets results in non-functional. So people are not like to use the toilet. Then irregular cleaning and monitoring schedules and cleaning supplies and materials also one of the issue. Then lack of adequate supervision and lack of funds for operation and maintenance. So though in our state we have taken many initiatives, some initiatives particularly from Nellore, Vijayawada, Tirupati and Visakhapatnam commissioners, they have taken up many initiatives like ICT and mobile application based monitoring systems, and they have given huge IEC campaigns on behavioral changes, and they are continuously doing capacity building activities for their staff, and O&M cost may be recovered through pay for use, in particularly in Vijayawada, Visakhapatnam, Nellore and all, they're running with the monetization of the public toilets. And further, these commercial establishments also, we are trying to attach these public toilets so that we can ensure this maintenance. So maintenance of each public toilet can be given to respective authorities, so that in like RTC bus stand, police stations and public places and other offices for its maintenance. Next. See, to meet these standards, our entire planning is to have the best sanitation system in the state as per our Honorable Chief Minister's instructions. And state is completely focusing on converting all the existing toilets to aspirational toilets with the convergence of funds from both Swachh Bharat Mission as well as 15 Finance Commissions, and from ULB's local funds. Then we are also trying to construct public toilets through CSR funds, and some commissioners also doing this, and we are also doing it at state level, so that to cover entire public toilets for aspirational toilets. Then we are also proposing every aspirational toilets at ward secretariat offices, where public people will gathering will be more. There we are planning these aspirational toilets along with all what do you call facilities like Divyang, third gender and child friendly toilets. And we are also trying to monetize the monetization of the public toilets also through this revenue generation system. And completely ASCI is helping us in developing this ICT based sensor monitoring along with caretaker mobile application. So with that, we are hoping that we will be completing this entire process in coming 6 months. So our even process of file process is also started. Now it is with the government. Once we get the approval, we'll go with this huge challenge. And this is from my side, and my commissioner and Rajamandri will give you presentation, and he has done excellent work in Nellore by constructing Nama like toilets in Nellore town, and he's also started his work in Rajamandri. So, and I'll request all the commissioners to note down whatever innovative things which are coming in this webinar, so that any innovative thing which is suitable to our ULBs, we can we can get some handhold from ASCI also. This is from my side. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. This is very inspiring in a way, because the state is trying to transform the public convenience into inclusive and aspirational toilets. So I think this is great news. Just wanted to check with you before I invite Mr. Dinesh for taking the session. Is Swachh Bharat Mission or under CLAP, if a city wants or a municipality wants to convert their existing convenience into public convenience into a bit of improved aspirational public conveniences, are financial support made available, or is it eligible, or is it a big concern, or what is the current thinking, sir?
No, actually they are eligible. We can support as per the guidelines. At the same time, we are also trying to converge from the available funds also. So that, for example, Nellore Commissioner will clearly explain about his activity in the Nellore. Actually, he converged SBM funds as well as his local funds, and he obtained even certain general funds also. So that he has constructed highly, what do you call, even they are equal to big malls, no, that standards he brought in Nellore Corporation, that he will explain.
Thank you.
But as of now, there is no hiccups in converging the funds from different sources.
Thank you, sir. That's, I think, great news. So this means that we can raise resources. What is important is the leadership. Now, when we speak about leadership, we have Mr. Dinesh Kumar was spoken much about for his efforts in Nellore. I also saw him on stage for the Safai Mitra Challenge. I think he won an award. Now he's the Municipal Commissioner of Rajahmundry Municipal Corporation. We requested him to speak a particular very important component of how public conveniences are redesigned or built for people with special need, also called Divyang toilets. Over to you, Mr. Dinesh, and thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chari. Am I audible?
Very much. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thanks, Professor. Thanks. Thank you, everyone. A warm good evening to all. First of all, I thank ASCI and also MD Swachh Andhra Corporation Sampath sir for giving me this opportunity. It's an honor and privilege for me to present about this wonderful topic of Divyang toilets. I'll club this Divyang toilets. I'll keep my presentation because the context has been set. I'll keep my presentation specific to Divyang toilets, but I'll also take you through what are the work we have done in some of the community toilets and public toilets in Nellore. Next slide. As we know, Divyang is the word coined by our Honorable Prime Minister to refer to the people with disabilities. These are people who are in need of, some special assistance as far as many of our public conveyances or public buildings are concerned. They come up with certain requirements, certain demands, which needs to be catered to. And one fact that we always have to keep in mind is these people are the most marginalized sections of our entire citizens or entire community. So whatever public spaces that we create, we have to ensure that they are disabled friendly so that our cities are inclusive and futuristic in nature. As for the census, every city on an average has a roughly 2.5% population of people with disabilities. So if we are going to exclude them, if we are not going to consider their needs in our public conveyances, then we are excluding them from the usage. So that was the thought process in mind. When we thought of, transforming all our community toilets and public toilets in Nellore into aspirational toilets, one thing we have kept in mind and one thing we want to be ensure or one thing we want to be sure is to ensure that all our toilets, what we construct, are usable by all the stakeholders of Nellore citizens. That can be women, people. So we have come up with a plan it's more often than not a mix and match plan, because we can't cater for all the needs of all the stakeholders in one particular community toilet. But we more or less try to ensure that at a frequent interval, we have sufficient public convenience or sufficient space created to use. Next slide, please. Or shall I share my screen if it's fine?
Yeah, I think
Yes, sir,
you
you
may be much more comfortable.
Comfortable,
So
yes.
I would suggest
Yes, please.
Nilgiri just
Yes, sir. I'll stop.
remove it and then give access to
Yes,
Commissioner.
sir. Yes, Commissioner Garu has.
Much better.
Is it visible?
So please double click to.
Yeah, this
now
is
it's
good.
visible.
This is good. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Yes, please. So, in fact, more often than not, whenever we are creating such facility, for example, if you are creating a third gender public conveyances or disabled friendly public conveyances, we think that we are benevolent enough to provide this facility to all these people. But one thing, and the fact remains that we have to keep in mind, is that we are duty bound to ensure that these facilities are designed in such a way that every stakeholder can use. In fact, if I take the case of Divyang or people with special needs, it is the duty on our part, even statutorily, as part of People with Disabilities Act, Right to People with Disabilities Act 2016, which mandates all public spaces to be disabled friendly. Without going protocols of ODF or ODF plus or water plus, or even such survection for that matter, we are duty bound to ensure that these facilities are in place in all our toilets. That was the reason, and that was the thought process in mind when we started this project in Nellore. On this platform, I would like to thank MD sir for supporting financially and also administratively for ensuring that this project has actually grounded in Nellore and is on the verge of completion. So a lot of credit goes to MD sir, and I thank him for that. So this is the overview of what we have done. We have total 61 toilets, community toilets 14, public toilets 19, and 28 newly, we have toilets which were newly created. As per the protocol of the ODF++, we ensured that all these toilets are, most of it, and I would say 90% of our public toilets are disabled friendly in Nellore now. These are some of the pics, and we did it with an estimate of close to 8 crores, with the majority of the grant coming from Swachh Andhra Corporation. Sir has briefly mentioned about the financial support that SAC can give, and a matching grant has been given from ULB2. We have sourced it from our own general funds. We have also roped in some CSR and 14 finance funds, and in total, the total project cost turned out to be around 8 crores. It's not just for the creation of disabled-friendly toilets, but it's also about facelifting the entire scenario of public toilets and community toilets in Nellore. So the idea is to ensure that our toilets standards are on par with any of the shopping mall or on par with any of the private sector corporate toilets. So in fact, I would say that some of the toilets, when we have taken public, they are so much satisfied. They have rated much more than what they have experienced in either shopping mall or a corporate. So primarily from Divyang's point of view, from the people with special needs, I would say that we have to keep 3 E's in mind. So one is ease of access, and then ease of transfer, and then ease of use. So these are the 3 E's which have to be kept in mind to ensure that our toilet is disabled. First of all, ease of access. So how accessible is our toilet or for the public convenience for the
We lost him, I think.
Yes, sir.
Just give him a sec. I would like to welcome.
I think there is some technical problem. Is it fine now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yes. I'm sorry. There seems to be some technical glitch. So ease of access. We have to keep. There will be different types of people who will be coming with different needs. Few people will be blind. Few people will be deaf, and few people wants to approach or access these toilets by use of wheelchair. So there needs to be sufficient infrastructure in place that caters to all their needs. So, for example, paths, ramps, support and landmarks for blind people. So these are some things that we have to keep in mind while public toilets as far as accessibility is concerned. The second aspect is once they access these toilets, how they are going to get into it. That is ease of transfer. So we need there shouldn't be any steps in between. So even if most of the times what happens is we do provide ramps, but after getting into the toilet, we'll provide steps, just to ensure that whatever that is flushed inside the cabin is not coming out onto the open floor. So then it becomes again difficult for a person with disability or person who goes on a wheelchair to access that particular cabin. So those things, those minute things have to be so that there is an ease of transfer once he accesses the public toilet. So here comes how big are our doors, how whether we have a flat platform or not, and then a door which is lockable on both sides, which is openable on both sides just in case of an emergency. So these are few things that have to be kept in mind when we are designing for special needs people. And once he accesses or once he transfers into the cubicle, and how easy is it for him to use it is the third parameter. So one should have, there has to be an extra space because he or she might need assistance, some helper, and then he needs to place his wheelchair or some other supporting equipment that he must have bought along with. So these are some things that has to be kept in mind as far as usability is concerned. So I have listed down what are few things that needs to be kept in mind, like hand pump aprons, extra base so that wheelchair can turn, enter and exit, support rails, suspended beam overhead ropes and sittings and other things. These are a few images that we have done in Nellore. These are most of them as part of the Native program. Either we have retrofitted the existing toilets to ensure that they are disabled friendly, or we have constructed altogether a new cubicle for them. Some of the specifications of Divyang toilets, the minimum size should be 1.5 to 1.75 meters, and then it should be bigger in size. The mirror should be placed so that whenever a person with disability sits or uses that particular washroom, these mirrors are accessible. And again, these are some of the pictures. You can see the ramps, signages, railings that we have placed in all our cubicles. So that there is ease of access, ease of transfer, and ease of use in all these toilets. Even in Rajahmundry, there is already an existing project where we have converted all our 10 community toilets and public toilets into aspirational from the CSR funds. And the idea is to transform all these toilets into aspirational toilets sooner. And there is also a reference to some of the innovative ideas. I mean, innovative projects that are coming up across the country by us. We have also partnered with Blue Cafe, and we are planning to establish 3 smart toilets in Rajahmundry now. That comes up with this idea of commercializing the public conveniences. Yeah. So I would like to add one point here. I think the focus is not on creating this disabled friendly. So the fact that it is, I think, if I'm the only parameter in most of our protocols in ODF++ is whether there is a provision for ramp or not. It doesn't speak whether that toilet is mandatorily having a disabled friendly atmosphere, friendly ease of transfer, and then ease of usage. So the day I think as at a policy level, we should insist the government of India to incorporate these parameters also part of our ranking, so that more and more cities will create this infrastructure, which we are duty bound, as I said in the starting of my presentation, as per the right to persons with disabilities act. This is the operational maintenance aspect of the toilets. Going forward, these are some of the reference images which I took from internet. These are the disabled friendly toilets in some of the developed countries. Here we have 3 images, if we can see. The first one is the overhead mobile support bars. It helps in, again, helps disabled people when they are about to stand, or when they are about to shift from the wheelchair to the cupboard. And to ensure that there is a physical comfort while they are resting, Munich Airport, they have provided a backrest. And then just in case of an emergency, sometimes the people who can't speak will also enter our cubicles. So some pod, which is next to the cubicle. So these are some of the futuristic ideas or futuristic designs, and more of them not adopted in most of the developed countries. I think we should keep these things in mind and ensure and plan and to achieve these sort of facilities or these sort of infrastructure created even in our public conveyances. So that's it from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Dinesh. I think it's very inspiring, your journey of transforming the existing public conveniences to make them friendly for people with special needs. So, a couple of points before I would like to welcome Mr. Suresh. Thank you, sir, for joining. Pleasure to see you. Just a quick introduction. He was the executive director of the HUTCO. Long back, he transformed HUTCO, one of the leading organizations of the country. So thank you very much.
Thanks for the invite. Going very well. So nice to hear wonderful views from the young ones, especially Dinesh's contribution. Rajamandri is known. I've been also reading about that. Very interesting.
Yeah, thank you. So, Mr. Dinesh, just 1 or 2 points before I invite Pravanya and move on. What was your motivation? As a city leader, you have 100 other things to do. So, what is your motivation for taking up this agenda? And it is, on a day, typically for a commissioner, you have not less than 100 priorities. So, could you tell us and also inspire other cities and other officers who are on this call? What led to your journey in this?
It might sound silly, but the fact is that when I got posted as municipal commissioner in Nellore, I went for a movie. Everyone during interval times, during the recess time, they go and use the washrooms in a big way. When I came out of the movie theater, people started defecating in open, even when there is a public toilet next to them. So that has invoked or provoked my thought, thought process, asking myself why people were not using the public toilet when they are very well using the toilet inside the theater. So this has led to this initiation of transforming all the toilets, because that was the time that was the time that we decided as a team, even in Nellore, that we want to create those create public conveyances which has a equal, if not better, infrastructure than the toilets in that particular theater. So we started this journey with my engineering team, visiting that particular shopping mall, that particular multiplex toilet, capturing each and every aspect of what they have created or provided there. And then I told my engineering team that this is how our toilet should be, and in fact, much better than what they have provided here. So that is how it started. And then we added these concepts of child-friendly, disabled-friendly, gender-friendly, all those things later.
Thank you. That's, I think it's very, very useful guidance. Thank you. We'll take some Q&A later. In fact, there were a couple of questions on pricing issue. Is there a subsidized tariff for the poor, especially those who cannot afford? Can they use these public conveniences in Nellore, or now Rajahmundry, or all of them are on PPP. So if you want to respond very quickly in 20 seconds, you can speak about it. Else we will take up Q&A later.
See, as far as O&M is concerned, what I have observed with my experience is, if it is commercially viable, you'll always find people who can come and run that establishment for you. So most of the toilets, what we have renovated in Nellore, which has a commercial value, we have given it on a PPP basis. So it will be maintained, and in fact, they are ready to pay me some of the revenue which they are generating because I have invested, or the corporation has invested money on it. So what we have designed a plan of cross subsidization. So whatever the revenue that we are realizing out of the commercial areas, we are using, or we are subsidizing to maintain where there is no commercial value and people are not very much looking forward. So that is how
great idea again.
Taken care of the O&M part of the toilet.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's again a brilliant idea where some locations generate positive revenues and some locations may not generate revenue. Footfalls are not there. Willingness to pay is not there. So you tend to use cross subsidy. Thank you very much. Now I invite again, thank you very much. Now I invite Ms. Pravinya from Greater Warangal Municipal Corporation, a thought leader again on public sanitation issues. Congratulations, today you won again ODF++, ma'am. So over to you. What was your journey like in the context of she toilets? It's a wrong display, I think.
Can I share my own?
Change the deck. It's the next presentation.
I think I'll share my own screen if they just.
No, it was there. It was Greater Warangal. It was Greater Warangal Municipal Corporation.
Yeah, just give it to access to Pravinya Garu.
Yes, sir.
Nilgiri, please stop presenting. Ma'am will present.
Yeah.
She will take over. So
Yeah.
Nilgiri, stop it.
Is my screen visible?
Not yet.
Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, good evening, everybody. And firstly, I thank ASCI for making me a part of this webinar. And today, I would like to talk to you all about inclusive and aspirational public conveniences, and more specifically about she toilets that have been taken up in Greater Warangal Municipal Corporation. So before this, I've worked in Hyderabad also, and we've worked extensively with ASCI regarding public toilets, even in Hyderabad and in Warangal. And there are a lot of learnings that we've gained by working with ASCI and with a lot of other tech partners who are also a part of this webinar today. I see that Lou Cafe is there, and Made in Mumbai Designs, they are also there. So we've worked with all of them over the last 2-3 years to make public toilets better in the cities. So firstly, I would like to talk about Warangal. I mean, it is the second largest city after Hyderabad in Telangana, and we have a population of about 10.5 lakhs today. And it is a fairly urban city. It is almost 2.5 lakhs of households, and we have 37% of the population in slums also. And one of the unique factors about the city is it is very widespread. About 407 square kilometers is the area. And Warangal is not just educational capital, but it is also a very historic city. Therefore, we have a lot of tourist footfall in and out of Warangal. So that is also one more aspect why we care about the city's appearances or the public conveniences which are present in the city. And it is also one of the major railway junctions. So we also have a lot of floating population who require these public conveniences from time to time. So the concept of she toilet is something which emerged out of a survey which was done with the help of ASCI. And what was realized is that there are certain specific reasons why women find it more difficult to use a public toilet than the other segments of the population. So this survey was conducted in such a fashion that we get real information from the ground level. So there was not just data collection from toilets about how many men and women were using, but also there were focus group discussions with people who actually use these public toilets. So we've realized that majority of the public toilets in crowded areas could be women who have come out for shopping, or second highest is used by the street vendors who are present in most of our markets or near the bus stops, etc., because they spend long hours out in the public from early morning till evening. And their only way to relieve themselves is to use a public toilet. So based on the feedback that we've received from them, some of the issues which were noticed was that the most critical issue was that the entrance to a public toilet was generally not very pleasant, and there was no separation between a men's toilet or a women's toilet, something which Professor Chari showed us in the beginning of his presentation, that it doesn't seem like a very approachable place or a safe place for a women to enter. And the second aspect is regarding the cleanliness and the sanitation of these toilets. So at least for most women, the sanitation and the cleanliness of the toilet is generally directly linked with the UTI infections that they catch or how they fall ill subsequently. So this is the second aspect which most of them have mentioned. The third is regarding the utilization of, say, sanitary napkins or the disposal of the same. This is something which has been pointed out by a lot of young women and urban women who've mentioned that this is one more aspect that they would like to see in public toilets, and it would be very convenient for them to approach these spaces safely. So with this feedback in place, in Warangal, we had come up with specific she toilets just to design them as a model and to showcase that this is how we can go ahead with the toilets specially designed for women. And each she toilet consists of a two-seater model where one is for specially abled. The other aspect is that it would have a CCTV just for the security purpose. It would have a lady caretaker, and we would have sanitary pad vending machines, incinerators, and a feedback machine, and a space where it is possible for a lady to even feed a child or put their luggage, handbag, etc. These are certain aspects which we realize are important. So if we look at, these are certain features that we have added. And for the structure of a she toilet, we've also had 2 mobile buses which we have launched exclusively for women to use them in public spaces, in fairs and festivals. And these buses actually we obtained from the TSRTC department, and from RTC we were able to invest about 9 to 10 lakhs just to renovate the entire bus, make it a more friendly space to install all the equipments which are required, and also the disposal system in it. So these are 2 buses that we have launched, and these buses have been such a huge success that now we receive calls from all the adjoining municipalities or the adjoining mandals whenever there is a program in a rural area. So we actually send out the bus from the corporation to utilize in the rural areas also. So if we see what are the inclusive public facilities as per the Swachh Bharat guidelines, also we see that there are basic facilities about separate entrances for men and women, the ramp with the railing, along with hand wash facilities, continuous supply of water, availability of soap and hand towels, the provision of a sanitary pad vending machine and incinerator, and the feedback mechanism for it, and the space for the caretaker. So with these public facilities in mind, and inclusive and aspirational facilities in mind, we have today 209 public toilets in the entire city. And these are being reviewed very regularly. And most of the time, with the help of ASCI, that we conduct a survey from time to time to understand where are we lacking or where are there certain gaps, so that we are able to immediately rectify those gaps present in the public toilets. All these 74 toilets which are present at fuel stations have been monitored from time to time, and we are ensuring that these toilets also make their premises clean, friendly, accessible, and are enabled with signages which ensure that they are utilized like any other public toilet which is being maintained by the corporation. One of the key aspects that I think Warangal has done differently is the maintenance of the toilet, the O&M of the toilet. So a large chunk of our toilets have been given on maintenance to our women self-help groups. So this is one aspect which has not only helped us ensure that the toilets are kept clean and tidy, They're also safe because especially the women toilets maintained and run by women, it gives a different kind of confidence for any lady to walk in. And that has been one of the success factors that we have noticed. And it also becomes an income source for the self-help group women who are maintaining these toilets. And it is not just self-help group women. We've given these toilets for maintenance even to the SHG groups of third gender and also to the physically challenged groups who are able to maintain them really well. And they're doing a fantastic job of taking responsibility of these toilets. And what we also do is from time to time, we have our sanitation staff, the sanitary jawans and the inspectors. So each of their areas, we have kind of categorized the list of toilets which come in their area. And when they go on their morning sanitation rounds, they not just look at the garbage or the roads and the drains, but toilets are an integral part of the corporation's maintenance system. So they also monitor every toilet. They check if the toilet is being cleaned, if it is being opened, and if there are any repairs which need to be taken up from time to time. So this has helped us ensure that we are not only developing the required infrastructure, but we are also able to maintain them on a real-time basis. So these are some of the pictures of how we have a toilet with the ramp and the railing intact. And we've created these small janitor rooms wherever the toilets have been the prefab model. One of the learnings that we've had is if we create a small space where the janitor can stay, a toilet where a person is there along with any sale point. It could be vending of any street vendor, or it can be a coffee or a tea sale point. Having a person near the toilet helps not just with prevention of theft or prevention of any other defacement, but it also helps in giving a sense of confidence to any person, especially the women, to walk into a toilet and feel that they are safe in that particular space. This is one aspect which has actually helped us monitor our toilets excellently. This is the Patana Pragati toilet monitoring system. It is an app which has been developed by the state government. And what we do is twice a week, on every Tuesday and Friday, the sanitary inspectors who are on rounds are expected to visit every toilet and attend these questions and enter, because every single toilet is already geotagged onto our system. And it helps us monitor directly which are the toilets which are functional. If there is any issue with any of the toilets, even could be in terms of a small tap is stolen, or there is a hand wash missing, or if the caretaker has been absent on a particular day, we come to know that these are the issues which are present in a particular toilet. And I think this is one system which helps any administrator to have real-time access to the data and also to rectify these issues from time to time. So I think these are the main things that we have done in Warangal, the highlights of it being ensuring the key indicators in terms of having separate access, having the parameters in terms of sanitary vending, ensuring that the maintenance is women-led, women-owned, and see the monitoring mechanism is in such a fashion that no one has to worry about entering a toilet.
Can you mute the participant, please? Can you mute the participant? There's a lot of disturbance.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you, Pravani Garu. I think this is fabulous. You know, it's always inspiring to hear the story of Warangal, and a lot of people from different parts of the country visit Warangal to learn their experiences. You know, it has become what is called a sanitation tourism, if I may say so, where a lot of people come and see the experience and try to replicate. Thank you very much. There are two interesting aspects that Pravani ji has mentioned, which I thought I should amplify. One is about the signage boards. Warangal has put signage boards. Toilet is 5 minutes away, 2 minutes away, 1 minute away. It's like a McDonald's directing everybody to their restaurant. So citizens are aware of where the toilet is at different junctions. I think that's a very interesting feature. What Pravani ji also mentioned about is fuel stations. So the fuel stations have been made accessible to general public, not only the users of the fuel, petrol shop, as we say. Every city has petrol bunks and petrol shops, but we are not really using them for general public for usage of these public conveniences. So I think Warangal has a distinction of making them available for citizens, so that the access issue, the number of toilets, the ratios that we need to maintain could be achieved much more efficiently and much more effectively, because these these fuel stations have the resources to maintain them well. So I think that's a good advantage. So again, there are a lot of questions, a lot of hands up, but I'm really conscious of the time. So I'll be moving to the next presentation, and then we will stop and then take some questions. Before I ask Misha ji to speak about her endeavors in making the toilets exclusively for third gender, which is a very, very unique initiative, I would like to show a short film about their program. So if you agree, we can show the film first, and then you can start your presentation. Is it okay, ma'am?
Yeah, it's completely fine. Thank you, Professor.
Yeah, thank you. So Nilgiri, can you start the film? We will make an attempt to show the film.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There we go.
How about the voice?
It's not audible. Sorry.
No, it's not audible.
Nilgiri, you can try to share the sound. There will be an option.
Yeah, give me a moment.
Someone can help Nilgiri?
Yeah. Yeah. Give me one moment, please.
Yeah.
Is it now?
Yeah, this is good.
एक बार कलेक्टर ऑफिस में गए थे हम लोग, तो मुझे बाथरूम लगा, तो मैं अंदर गई तो उसका कुंडा टूटा हुआ था, तो मैंने बाहर वाले कमरे का गेट का कुंडा लगा दिया। तो वहीं की एक जो बाबू हैं लेडीज, वो आई, तो अंदर कौन है, तो मैं बोली, क्योंकि हमारी आवाज़ मोटी आवाज़ होती है, तो मोटी आवाज़ के अंदर कहा मैं हूँ अंदर। तो वो जोर से चिल्लाई, देखो तो अंदर कौन जेंट्स घुस गया। जहाँ जाते हैं हम लोगों को परेशानियों का ही शिकार होता है।
रानी की तरह ही देश के लाखों थर्ड जेंडर्स की ऐसी कई पीड़ादायक कहानियां हैं। देश के ग्रामीण इलाकों में थर्ड जेंडर के लिए अब तक पृथक शौचालय की कोई व्यवस्था नहीं थी। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी और मुख्यमंत्री श्री शिवराज सिंह चौहान की संवेदनशील सरकार स्वच्छ भारत मिशन के तहत शहरों से लेकर गाँव तक शौचालय मुहैया करा रही है। इसका खास मकसद है सामाजिक न्याय के साथ लोगों को इज्जत की जिंदगी जीने का अधिकार दिया जा सके। शाहजहांपुर जिले के ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में स्वच्छ भारत मिशन में जो नवाचार किया है, वह देश में एक बड़ी नजीर बन गया है। यहाँ ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में 87 सामुदायिक स्वच्छता परिसर तैयार किए जा रहे हैं। 19 परिसर बनकर तैयार हो चुके हैं। इन सभी परिसरों में थर्ड जेंडर के लिए पृथक से शौचालय की व्यवस्था की गई है। थर्ड जेंडर करा रही है शौचालय, इसका खास मकसद है सामाजिक न्याय के साथ लोगों को शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं जीने का अधिकार हमारे गरीबों के लिए सोचा। शाहजहांपुर जिले के ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में स्वच्छ भारत मिशन ने जो नवाचार किया है और सड़क में एक बड़ी नजीर थर्ड जेंडर कम्युनिटी के लोग यहाँ ज्यादातर 87 सामुदायिक ऐसे में उन्हें सार्वजनिक शौचालय का इस्तेमाल करना पड़ता है। सुप्रीम परिसर फैसले बनकर तैयार ट्रांसजेंडर्स को इन सभी परिसरों में थर्ड जेंडर पृथक से नागरिक मौलिक अधिकारों के साथ थर्ड जेंडर अधिकार शौचालय इसका खास मकसद शाहजहांपुर जिले में ये पहल की गई है।
We decided कि इसको बिल्कुल स्टैंड स्केल करके we make it available to each and everybody। इसलिए इसमें हम लोग थर्ड जेंडर यूनिट्स भी प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं। The idea is that right to sanitation should be available to everybody।
स्वच्छ भारत ग्रामीण इलाकों में किया है स्वच्छता परिसरों में एक बड़ी महिला, दिव्यांग और थर्ड जेंडर शौचालयों के साथ महिला विश्राम एवं शिशु स्तनपान कक्ष भी बनाए गए हैं।
जिस वर्ग को सुप्रीम कोर्ट माना जाता था, समाज में इन सब परिसरों में थर्ड जेंडर को नागरिक लोग के साथ
टॉयलेट बनाया गया है जिससे उन्हें समाज में समान अधिकार मिले और इसके द्वारा हम सम्मान दे सकते
ये बड़ा बदलाव बगैर जन भागीदारी के शायद मुमकिन नहीं था। लोग इस समाज को अपने बीच जगह देकर फक्र महसूस कर रहे हैं।
मुझे इस गांव का निवासी होने के नाते इस बात पर गर्व है।
स्वच्छता परिसरों को बेहतरीन गुणवत्ता और सुविधाओं के साथ तैयार किया जा रहा है। अब इन्हें मेंटेन करने के लिए उतनी ही स्मार्ट कार्य योजनाएं तैयार की जा रही हैं।
इंक्लूजन उनका करने की पूरी कोशिश की गई है और उसको चलाने के लिए हम लोग कुछ हमारे SHGs हैं जो महिलाएं चलाती हैं या फिर ग्राम पंचायत के माध्यम से या फिर कोई आउटसोर्स एजेंसी के माध्यम से इनको चलाने की कोशिश की जाएगी।
समाज के हर वर्ग को सम्मान और मानवीयता की गरिमा के साथ जीने का अधिकार देना ही गुड गवर्नेंस है।
इसके लिए हम सरकार और सरकार के जितने भी कर्मचारी वगैरह हैं उन सबको हमारी ओर से बहुत बहुत आभार।
Thank you very much. Misha ji, over to you.
Thank you, Professor. Mr. Chari, first of all, thank you, because I've just learned that most of the initiatives that are being shared today on this platform are primarily related to the urban area. So thank you, because as being a CEO, Zilla Panchayat, we deal with the rural part of the district. So I'm really thankful for being provided this opportunity and this platform to showcase that exactly what we have done. So when we talk about the sanitation, the mandate is similar to what has been given in the urban area as well. The Ministry of Rural Development has also come out with a very detailed guideline that in order to achieve an ODF plus status and to maintain it, we have to provide access and easy access for the sanitation in the community areas and in the public spaces also. So while we were implementing the idea for the community sanitary complexes, we as a design team, we had this brainstorming session that we have to make it completely inclusive, in a sense that so far we learned that there were certain standalone initiatives being done in the urban area where a very dedicated separate toilets for the transgenders were also being built. But in rural area, we really do not have that much of resource pool, as we could say. Every panchayat has its own limited resource base, and some of it could be provided from the side of the district also. So we had an option that we could either have a standalone or we can have an inclusive. So we went for the inclusive because it provided us an equal opportunity where we can have a good design as well as we can optimally utilize the resources that were available to us. So when we see that CSC, which have to cater to the sanitation of the floating population as well, we realize that the third gender are one such population that keeps on migrating from one place to the other place also. So far, the designs were not having them integrated within the main design system of one single CSCs. Also, we have realized that Supreme Court did, can you just change the slide to the next page, please? Yeah. So the Honorable Supreme Court in the NALSA versus Union of India also scaled up right to access to sanitation by making it inclusive in word and spirit. And that is where we decided that third gender has to be within the same complex design, whereby we can actually adopt towards the aspirational and the inclusion approach we are saying. Within the same complex also gives an inclusion approach rather than an exclusion and inclusion approach. This video which was being played is slightly old. Now all the complexes are up and running. I'm very happy to share that. The site locations were to keep in point that the domicile and the floating population as well as the migratory population both can use these facilities. And I believe this is the first time that the gender inclusive toilets were being prepared and implemented at such a big scale in India. To the next slide, please. So the designs, we had two design options in front of us. One was the 7 lakh unit and the other one was 3.44. The option B is the large scale design that has been implemented. We saw and we learned from other speakers that convergence is one thing that has to be utilized on a very big scale, and so was done in Shajapur as well. We utilized funds from the Swachh Bharat mission, from the 15th Finance Commission, and also Manrega. Now, because it's a rural area, we had the opportunity of utilizing the labor part of the construction from the Manrega side. Our toilets provide for a separate unit for the males, female, and for the third gender. It has 1 bathroom, 2 toilets, and a female breastfeeding area, and also a rest space. We also have kid urinals in our design. So when we were doing the brainstorming session, one of the challenges which we threw in front of our engineering team was that the rural design and the rural toilet should nowhere be less than what the facilities are available in the urban area, because it's high time that we have to pitch them side by side in terms of the accessibility and the design. The separation was in terms of the community share also. We have come up with these designs in the bigger panchayats, but the population size, where the population is sizable, where the community itself has contributed towards it. We had few CSR funds from the mining and from the other companies that are here in the district. And that is how we came up with the 7 lakh design. It has a separate unit for male, female, again, and third gender. And it's a slightly a bigger size of the toilet, because the toilets are designed and are being maintained in areas which have heavy flow of the population, primarily because of the railway station or the bus stand, or being a hard bazaar meaning thereby a weekly market which is being organized in that particular places. Next slide, please. So this was the basic design. This is for the 3.44, where we have provided for the ladies' toilet, for the gents, we have a resting space, we have the kid urinals, we have a separate toilet for the transgenders over here, we have a separate toilet for the disabled friendly and the ramp. Next. So the challenges for the team was to make our inclusive units much more socially acceptable. As we can see in the video, we have few sarpanches also. So it was very important for the sarpanch of a particular gram panchayat to be on the same page as the administration was. Meetings were done with them. We got them to understand the concept of it. We even had them meet the akhadas or the groups of particular areas which were representing the transgender in that particular panchayat or in that particular district. Design and formulation and selection was the other challenge in front of the team, that how can we make it comfortable for both the male, female, and for the transgenders to use it. I was just reading a few of the articles before we started designing that transgender standalone toilets also face a difficulty in terms of its safety. So we had that point in our mind while we were designing it. Availability of funds was a third challenge, and I just showed how we met that challenge with the convergence of the schemes. Maintenance safety was our fourth challenge. For the maintenance, as we know it for today, we are having SHGs as a successful group which are maintaining these toilets. In certain places, we even have Gram Panchayat, village sanitation and water committees who have taken over for the maintenance of it. Next. So the process of implementation was very similar. The intensive design and consultation was done with the engineering services. I even would like to take this platform to extend my thanks to WaterAid team. WaterAid worked very closely with our district for the technical and the quality audit while we were implementing this. Next, please. Next, these are a few of the implementation recognition which we got over a period of time. Next, please. These are few of the snapshots, if you can see. Now, if you can see on the right side, there is a separate entrance for women, men, and for the transgender. These are for 344. Can you go on the next slide, please? Next slide, please. Yeah, so this is the technical audit which is being done and the design audit which is being done. We had a third-party inspection because, as was rightly pointed out by a few speakers before, that many a times our intent just remains limited to the paper and the planning. It exactly does not materializes on the ground. So we would want to have a disabled friendly toilet, we would want to have a child friendly urinal, but what we plan is not exactly executed on the ground. So it was very necessary we have a third party inspection. So the water aid team came, and it also has given guidance step by step to many of our engineers to create master trainers so that they can, on the other hand, give this training to the masons and to the other engineers of the district also. Please, next slide, please. These are few of the snapshots from how inside of these toilets look like. Next shot, please. Yeah, so we even have curtains and everything which is being attached. Now, this was something of feedback which was given by the self-help groups, that not only we should have a separate entity if a curtain is provided, because the toilets, the door remains open till the time the service is available. So they wanted, if a curtain is there, they feel the sense of privacy is slightly more for them, because there is also a breastfeeding area which has been provided within the toilet as well. Next, please. Next. 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 These are few of the images which are being given by the team. This is again snapshots that were taken during the design audits. As you can see on the third side, the height and the ratio, everything is being taken care of. We have taken these design suggestions, and in the next phase of the implementation of these toilets in our district, we have ensured that the design inputs that have been provided to us by the water aid and also by the people of the panchayat are included within the implementation. Next, please. Next. Next, you can go to the next slide. Yeah, this is the 7 lakh design. Now you can see the size and the ratio of the CSE. The important part is that the community came forward to have this kind of a CSE within their area. So this CSE has been designed near a religious place. We have a heart bazaar also, which is being organized over there. We have quite a huge footfall in that area. Community share and CSR funds were very crucial for